Most men look average, not because of genetics, but because they ignore a few small details that compound into a completely different face. Every method in this video is non-surgical. Most cost almost nothing, and at least one of them will change how people perceive you within a week. Barbers know the fastest way to change a man's face is by controlling hair shape and silhouette. The high contrast cut, with volume on top and tight sides, creates an instant vertical illusion. Adding height up top visually elongates the face, while a sharp taper on the sides narrows the profile and brings out the jawline. This is not just a style trend, it is geometry. Reducing side bulk shrinks facial width, so cheekbones and jaw appear sharper, even if you have not lost a pound. The effect is especially strong on round or softer faces, where the difference between a grown-out mop and a clean fade can look like a 10-pound weight drop. The barber's hands matter. A good cut blends the fade just above the temple, never too high, and leaves enough length up top to style upward. These small adjustments compound, shifting how your face is read in seconds. For most men, this is the first and most visible transformation, one that almost nobody gets right by accident. Eyebrow spacing is one of those details that most guys never think about, but it changes how your entire eye area reads. The trick is to trim just the very inner edge and never pluck deep into the brow, or you risk a permanently surprised look. A subtle inner trim widens the eyes, sharpens the bridge, and creates a stronger, more masculine frame without crossing into cartoon territory. Always use a clean pair of scissors and a mirror, working hair by hair. Stop before you see any visible gap between the brows. The goal is controlled separation, not a dramatic arch. Some men try rosemary oil for regrowth, but studies show only a 4% non-significant increase in brow hair after 3 months. So don't count on a miracle if you overdo it. Once you get the spacing right, the rest of your eye area upgrades, like contrast, brightness, and definition, become even more noticeable. Overplucking is almost impossible to fix, so err on the side of caution. This is about micro adjustments that compound, not chasing trends. Nothing changes how your eyes read on camera faster than the Eye Boost Trio: curl, whiten, and rim. Start with a heated eyelash curler. Always check the tool on your hand first. Stay under 50 degrees Celsius. Above that, keratin breaks down, and you risk lash damage. A quick, gentle press at the base, then slide upward. Done right, you get a clean lift that holds for hours. Next, 1 drop of Lumify per eye. Lumify is FDA approved. It is a vasoconstrictor that cuts redness in 5 minutes and keeps the whites bright for up to 8 hours. Never double dose or use with heart medications. Follow the label and skip contact lenses for half an hour after. For the finishing touch, limbal ring contacts. A darker rim around the iris boosts perceived youth and clarity. Only use prescription lenses fitted by a professional. Over-the-counter tints can cause infection or corneal injury. Each of these steps takes less than a minute, and the payoff is immediate. Wider, brighter, more defined eyes with no surgery and no downtime, and no one else in the room is doing it. A white, even smile is the fastest way to signal health and hygiene. No surgery, just chemistry. Most men underestimate what a peroxide whitening strip can do. A single dentist-supervised session or a week of over-the-counter strips can shift teeth 2 to 3 shades up the Veda scale, making your face look cleaner and more youthful. Sensitivity is common but usually fades in days, so don't chase blinding white, or you risk chalky, unnatural enamel. Stick to the schedule and always use fluoride after. Skin sends the next signal. Start with a gentle cleanser and a plain moisturizer. Nothing fancy. The real game changer is sunscreen. A daily SPF 30 cuts your risk of skin lesions by up to 50%, and it is the only proven way to slow visible aging. For extra payoff, layer in hyaluronic acid for hydration and niacinamide for tone. These steps compound over weeks, locking in a presentable baseline that most men never reach simply because they do not stick with it. Isotretinoin and minoxidil are in a different league from the usual grooming upgrades. They are real pharmaceuticals, not just over-the-counter fixes. Isotretinoin, known as Accutane, is the most powerful weapon against stubborn acne. Dermatologists prescribe it at a cumulative dose of 120 to 150 milligrams per kilogram, spread over 5 to 7 months. This is not a casual decision. Monthly lab checks are non-negotiable, tracking liver enzymes, lipids, and for women, pregnancy status. About 78% of users remain clear 2 years after finishing, but dry lips and skin affect almost everyone, and up to 15% see raised triglycerides. Severe psychiatric or gut side effects are rare, but not impossible. A dermatologist puts it bluntly, you need labs, you need monitoring, and you need to respect the drug. Minoxidil, on the other hand, is the go-to for beard growth, even though it is only approved by the FDA for scalp use. About 35% of men see visible gains after 6 months of twice-daily application. But irritation and contact dermatitis are common, and you cannot skip the moisturizer. Neither of these methods is plug and play. They demand real commitment, medical oversight, and the patience to see results. For men willing to go all in, the payoff can be dramatic, but the risks are real, and shortcuts do not end well. Cold water or an ice pack on the face is not just a TikTok trick, it is a clinical shortcut for sharper angles. 5 minutes with a cold compress at 4 to 10 degrees Celsius can reduce facial puffiness by 15%, making the jawline and cheekbones cut through softer features. The effect is temporary, but for photos or a night out, it can be a cheat code. Never go longer than 8 minutes or below 4 degrees Celsius because frostbite is real. But the real multiplier is not a quick chill. It is dropping body fat to the 12 to 15% range. Every study on facial attractiveness points to this window. Definition jumps, skin tone evens out, and the underlying bone structure finally shows. At this level, every other hack, hair, brows, eyes, hits harder because the canvas is clear. The difference between 22% and 14% is not just numbers, it is the difference between soft and carved. For most men, this is the force multiplier that ties the entire stack together. Right now, most men still overlook the details that drive perception. The smallest upgrades stand out precisely because few act. Your face is a signal. Make it undeniable. Share your take below.